It is Sunday evening, and it means it's time for another live recording of the Auburn Experience podcast. We got a big week building up to a big weekend. We're going to cover all that here right now. Myself and Austin Scott back in the saddle. War Eagle Auburn family, War Eagle E2C Network family. We are excited, folks. We have basically made it, and we are here to talk about it on episode 49 of the Auburn Experience podcast, live recording beginning in about 5 minutes. Till then, I'm your host, Kyle, alongside Austin Scott. Are you pumped, Austin?
Kyle, as you can see, I'm already inside the stadium. I'll be here all week, just waiting for Saturday afternoon.
Can I just ask, did you wait until I put you off the screen to pull that up to surprise me?
I did. I absolutely did. And clearly, it does not like myself without my hat, but I am one with the stadium until at least Saturday afternoon.
Very good. I appreciate
it. It's very distracting.
I appreciate the level of showmanship, though, that you took it with this, because, yeah, but just pull the curtain back, folks. Pre-screen or going live here, Austin and I were just chatting. This is all I saw in the background. And so when I pull him back up, bam, in the stadium, ready to roll. So that's awesome. That's awesome.
It's here, Kyle. I mean, we made it.
Oh man, we've made it in the sense that it is prep week, right? Like the game hasn't started, game day's not here.
Sure.
So like to me, there's still those long 5 days. It'll be the longest 5 days ever. It is every single year, that final week leading up to actual game day. But in terms of the talking season type of stuff, we are here. And of course, we're going to still finish out the talking season on a strong note tonight. Got a couple big topics to hit with you all this evening. We'd love to say hello to you all. As we said, we'll start the live recording here shortly. But right now, you can get us started off by posting where you're watching from. If you're city or state, if you're international, you can go ahead and smash the like button if you feel like we have earned that. That is always very helpful for our stream. So thank you guys so much who are able to do that for us. We got a lot of fine people checking in tonight. My friend Tyler is here at saying I got a good fantasy draft, but I don't know if he's being real or he's being funny. I feel like knowing him, he's messing with me, but it is what it is. Joe wants the hat from you, Austin. Can you give it to
Auburn University bookstore? I'm sure they'll have a brand new collection ready to go this year, but this one might be in there. This is one of my favorites.
Yeah, I'm in need of I'm not in need of a new hat, but I'm in the market for one. I have found the one I want. It is the Eagle A with the trucker mesh back on it, and I've seen it several places. I think J&M is one of the places. It's not hit my price point quite yet.
Sure.
But that is the one I've got I think it's also on Amazon, stuff like that. But I don't normally like trade out my hats every single year, but I look back at some photos. This one I have has been around for about 2 years. I'm like, it's time to start, especially with, that mesh backing would be very nice with some of this heat we're going to have. So
2 years is about a good time to switch out a hat for a new season.
I will be honest too, that I feel like this one has lasted a lot longer than my last ones previously have. Like it's actually quite shocking how long this one has lasted. Thomas says, ready for some barbecue and Auburn football. Yeah, what's your food of choice on game day? I know it changes, but like if you could have, this is what I want at my tailgate. Let's everybody in the room too answer this question. What would you want?
Yeah, it does change. You're right. We try and do something different just about every week, but it's hard for me not to go with wings. I just love some wings on Saturday afternoon and into the evening, and then all the snackage. I grew up growing up. We had the big Rotel queso dip in the crock pot. You just kind of every time you walk by, you just get another little dip. But as I've gotten older and held my own watch parties at my house, I've had friends bring some stuff. But one of my best friends in the whole world makes some incredible homemade oatmeal cream pies that she always brings, and I can't go without them. Her homemade oatmeal cream pies are a staple now at the watch party. So, I mean, it definitely changes. But if I'm going with the main entree, I just love chicken wings.
I'm not like shocked that was an answer of yours, but that wouldn't be my go-to
Sure.
wings for a game. I don't know why that is. I do like the whole barbecue idea.
Mhm.
Cooler weather taco soup is a great idea from Standard
Or
here.
chili.
Chili,
Yeah,
that it's kind of in the same vein as you said, the Rotel dip. Like you just kind of,
absolutely.
you do little blow-bys every 5 seconds.
Mhm.
Oh, I didn't come by a second ago. I can just see, this is what Austin is going to do at everybody's tailgate this season. He is just going to be scoping out who's got the best dips and is going to have a chip in his hand, just like do a blow-by and grab some.
Absolutely.
That's what I'm
Chips
saying.
in my pocket. I'll just pull one out and come on by.
Cheese dips, Rotel dips, hot dogs,
Gosh,
potato
yes.
salad. Man, guys, listen, I had
You
dinner
can't
already.
go wrong with hot dogs. A hot dog is and then a smoked pork butt with baked beans. Yeah. Oh, cornbread. Woo!
Hey, listen,
Woo!
folks, this is a family show. Y'all are getting way too adult here with some of these food things on here. It's all good stuff,
Yum.
though. All good choices. So we're happy for tailgating season to be here, and we'll be discussing, I'm sure, some of those things throughout in the Auburn Experience podcast. So we're going to go ahead and get some things going tonight. Thank you guys so much for assembling early here and smashing the like button. Got a good crowd assembled. We're going to start the show here in just a second. We're going to have I'm on camera now with three 10-minute-ish topics. First one will be Auburn potpourri. Second one, we're going to do a little season prediction / preview as fast as we can, mainly Austin's picks, because I'm planning on doing some other stuff on E2C Network with that this week. Time and circumstances allowing. Austin knows what I'm talking about. And also, we're going to talk about all those new enhancements to Jordan-Hare Stadium and game day. Just big news week. Plenty to talk about. We're going to get into it right now. So stick around after the show. We'll be hanging out and talking with you. Not a lot of discussion with you guys during the show, but a fun one coming up here. Austin, are you ready?
I'm ready. Let's get it.
In 3, 2, 1. David Housel described it best. We are living the whole Auburn experience. Whether we are talking about the final days in a march to game day, whether we're talking about school that has been in session for a few weeks now, whether we're talking about something related to the orange and blue out there, anything and everything at its core, at its heart. It is all about its sports, its culture, and of course, the Auburn family. Because this show is all about the Auburn family, you got to have a family member here with us to discuss this type of stuff. So alongside myself, your host, Kyle Loomis, back in chair number 2, Austin Scott. Welcome, sir.
Thank you, War Eagle Kyle. Kyle, episode 49. We are almost to game day, my friend. The dog days of summer where we thought we wouldn't have a lot to talk about, we managed through, and we are almost back in Jordan-Hare Stadium for 2023. I can hardly believe it. I am absolutely pumped that we are in the prep week, as you said.
Yes, prep week has arrived, or as most people would say, hate week. Now,
yeah, there you go.
I don't have a lot of reason to hate UMass, but I'll find some reasons because it's hate week or prep week, however you want to scratch it out. I think there's not so much hate that's built right now. It is just we are happy to be talking about a game day that is getting so close. So if you haven't been able to tell, the first one effectively of the season, we're going to be talking a lot of football tonight. We do our best to give you as much of a well-rounded experience as we can. But my gosh, there's so much to talk about with football. But I got to ask you, 49, do you have a dedication for this show?
40, as you said, Kyle, we try and cover everything. And so there is Cole Lipscomb, the former Auburn baseball pitcher who wore number 49, did very well for the Tigers. But it's football game week. And so how can you not think about hard-hitting linebacker Darrell Williams of just a few short years ago from Hoover, Alabama, an absolute unit that would line up in the backfield back there and just come up and smack you right in the mouth. So Darrell Williams, that's how I feel. I'm that pumped up for game day. I feel like I could be an inside linebacker and go hit someone right now. We're not going to test that theory because you wouldn't have a co-host next week. But I feel like I have enough energy to believe that I could go hit somebody right now.
I feel you on that one. The energy has been building up all summer, and we got to do something. Give me a wall to run through. That's what I'm saying.
Yes,
Yeah, he would definitely do that. If I'm not mistaken, if I can really reach back into my memory, you may not remember this. I don't know, but Michael Goggins, I think, was number 49 too. I'm probably
that
wrong.
sounds that sounds right.
Is it not? I mean, that's to me, that's somewhere in the well of useless Auburn information that I have smashed inside this very receding hairline of a noggin that's going to get even more so coming up
Your
soon.
quick research says you're correct, so I'm very impressed by you.
Look at this. Look at
Congratulations.
this. It's almost like I've been doing a podcast for 9 years that I've required me to, get all this useless information. Anyway, so all right, some good representatives for the show. Let's talk about Auburn potpourri. We're going to try to hit a bunch of small topics before we get to the big ones this evening. So what I have on the list for you, Austin, since we're going to be talking a lot about football, let's cover some of the other sports real quick. Volleyball. Hot start 3-0 with a weekend tourney in town. So good to have them back, getting off to a great start. And, there's much more of this to come this season, I'm sure.
Oh, absolutely. Way to go, Coach Crouch. We are definitely thrilled. I could see the momentum from last year within the fan base excited about volleyball. We talked about getting on this team and getting behind this young team. Over the course of the weekend, you could see people excited to see that this team's come back out. A new floor that our buddy Clint Richardson covered
Yep.
plenty well. Looks really good. So you can see different excitement, different aspects of excitement for this volleyball program. And they started off the year very hot, like you said.
Yep. And obviously, we're not playing the stiffest competition right now. That's
Sure.
coming. It's the same thing in all sports. You tend to play maybe a mixture of maybe teams you should beat and maybe a few challenging non-conference opponents, but still getting off on the right foot at home is the way that you want to start it off. Also for soccer as well, they had a great week. They do already have a tie. That was last week. I think we already mentioned that previously, but 2 wins over decent opponents. In fact, today was one that they had to come back from and win. Both of these
Right.
are on the road. First one, ACC opponent Syracuse did a good job getting the win up there and just finished off another team in New York. Army today got down,
Yes.
by a score and then eventually won it 3-2. Coach Karen Hoppe in her 25th year. Great start in non-conference thus far.
No, absolutely. And, not expecting anything less from a team led by her. And it looks like it's going to be a good start to the year for them. So exciting start for both programs. And I think there's a lot to be excited about that'll carry on the momentum for both of them.
Of course. And we're not done talking about either of those programs.
Absolutely.
We'll be mentioning them throughout the season as our episodes come along. So if you are a soccer fan, if you are a volleyball fan, fear not. This is the Auburn Experience Show, and we're going to be talking a lot about all those different things. Since we're all about a full experience here, let's take it to some of the pros right now, because if you are a football fan, you know that the NFL has been in its preseason, that a lot of that's been going on and it's starting to wind down here. And kind of in the final weeks, you start to see a lot of the players that, let me just be frank, probably won't play a lot or trying to earn spots on teams. And they're getting some opportunities to showcase a lot of things. Some of those are Auburn players. Seth Williams, Shed Jackson have had some pretty big catches so far. And there's a few others that we might want to mention here. But I mean, it's great, isn't it, Austin, to see these guys that we have most recently, seen out there in the orange and blue getting some opportunities, and maybe we'll see them on some NFL rosters this season.
No, absolutely. And I think with a big week of cuts coming up for a lot of teams before their own prep weeks start for the season in a couple weeks. These, like you said, these last few snaps and games of the preseason might not matter, as you might get a lot of playing time, but you might have a chance to showcase yourself and get on another team should you be cut. So really good outings, as you mentioned, by Seth Williams and Shed Jackson. We cannot be dismayed in not mentioning the Carlson brothers, who are taking the NFL kicking world by storm. Anders Carlson living up to the family name by having a couple big boots up in Green Bay. And then Daniel Carlson with a 62-yard field goal in preseason. That probably was good from 70, Kyle. I think the Carlson brothers are going to be, I think you can put them in the Manning the Manning name of kickers for the NFL at this point.
Hey, listen, I'm not going to argue it at this point because it seems to be heading that direction. Anders seems to be the heir apparent to Mason Crosby up there
Yeah.
in Green Bay. And, listen, we all know that Anders, when you compare his time versus Daniels here at Auburn, it was a little bit, maybe less successful. Some of that's not even under his control and some injuries things too. But how nice is it to see this guy go on the big stage, the big dance in a way, and show out like this? Yeah, it's preseason, but these are not easy kicks to make. Trust me, I can tell you, I was a kicker. And to see him do that, to see his brother Daniel continue to be just so dominant and continue to show the Minnesota Vikings people how much, and granted, I think a lot of the Minnesota Vikings people have atoned for that and admitted that was such a stupid decision to let go Daniel Carlson. But either way, it's working out. And there's other big names out there. Tank's having a pretty good time to start off with. I think it's a matter of time before he plays. Anthony Schwartz, though, in a kind of a sad note, got released today. And
I know.
Yeah, how do you feel about it?
I was surprised. He's been not, a key player for the Browns over his time in the NFL last couple of years, but has been in the rotation, has scored, has made some plays. I don't think he'll stay, unemployed for long. I think he'll get a shot somewhere and be able to make a contribution to a team. But I was really surprised by that.
It's kind of felt like this was the time they were going to make a decision like that if he hadn't become more prominent on that roster. And doesn't mean I think he should have been cut. But here's what I'd love Anthony to do is go to one of these. If he doesn't find a place on an NFL roster, go to one of these spring leagues and just show out with that speed he has. And then finally, there's some proof of concept at least semi-pro level in those ways, in those spring league games, for someone to say, okay, he's been on an NFL roster. He's doing this at the basically pro level. Let's put him back on this roster and see what happens. So we're rooting for Anthony. He's definitely a special wide receiver that came out of Auburn. We're really excited for him and what he's done so far and what he may continue to do at the pro level. Final notes. I told you we had a lot to throw in here. Recruiting. It's not over, folks. As our good friend Trevon Reed would say, we ain't done yet. we still are, just even getting started with 2025 recruiting. Your second commit, a brother of current Auburn football Tiger. The Falk brothers are here. Jacaleb Falk, a 2025 defensive lineman commit, or edge, however you would like to lay that out there. He has committed to the Auburn Tigers. Big week for Auburn.
No, big week, absolutely, and really cool to see Keldrick Falk be able to come for his brother's announcement. And turns out that they're going to be suiting up together here in a couple of years. So really exciting. Love to see it. It was a sweet moment. Love to see that family connection now becoming a big part of the Auburn family. And then another 2024, one coming sooner or later. Dimitri Nicholas, right?
Yep, Dimitri Nicholas. So 2 defensive linemen, 2 different classes, though. Somebody that I think a lot of Auburn fans were waiting for to commit. And, a lot of these guys like to make their decisions with their teams during their season. So that's why you're seeing a lot of those kind of come now. And this was one of those dividends of Big Cat Weekend that I continue to tell people, if you're upset that your player didn't commit at Big Cat Weekend, don't worry, because it's all about laying that foundation, planting that seed, watching it grow. And then before you know it, you've got commitments to the Auburn Tigers. So big week for 2025, the 2024 class. And I don't think we're slowing down anytime soon in the recruiting cycle for at least when Hugh Freeze is there.
Absolutely.
It slowed down with old boy was here from Boise State, but we've definitely returned to form there. A lot of topics that we just covered there in potpourri. It's time to get into the big topics tonight. We're going to discuss, obviously, a little bit of preview and predictions of the season, and then get into all the new enhancements coming to Jordan-Hare Stadium and game day for Auburn fans. Big topic number 1 tonight. It is finally arrived, Mr. Austin Scott. We can officially talk about game week. Now, it's a Sunday evening. We're recording this. Technically, I think most people would say Monday is when it officially starts. I'm sure there's a debate about that. Who cares? It's here. We waited long enough. We are talking about the season. The struggle for you and me in this segment, though, is going to be combining all that probably could take about an hour to discuss
Oh,
into
yeah.
about somewhere in a 10 to 15 minute segment. Because let's be honest, we're not going to be done in 10 minutes here. And I've already wasted about 1 minute of your time. Austin's going to give mostly his thoughts here. I will be sharing mine on some other venues at E2C Network, and I'll be chiming in as I can here. But I want to give Austin the stage here. So we're going to walk through the season as quickly as we can here. Let's start here with week 1, Austin. Talk to me about UMass and how you're feeling about it.
Yeah, so just before we get into the whole schedule, I have set up these games into ones I think are locks, whether
Nice.
bad, good or bad. Some I think are toss up, but how my gut feels. So
Okay.
UMass, I feel pretty good, Kyle. I feel pretty good about
I think
the
you're
opener.
safe.
I'm safe with UMass. They had our game already. They looked pretty good, but they're coming in Jordan-Hare Stadium for the first game of the Hugh Freeze era. I feel good about a win against UMass. Starting 1-0.
There you go. I love it. I'm not going to argue too much there. Too much. I might argue for a minute. You see what I did there? It went right over his head for a second there. It came right back.
It did.
All right. Game number 2. Let's not spend any time on that. We go out to Cal. Lots of, dynamics there. First time out there, first time playing Cal, checking that off the list. How are you feeling about the first away game?
If you're a college football fan, you love Pac-12 After Dark. It doesn't matter if this is the last year of the Pac-12 or what. You love Pac-12 After Dark. Auburn is in Pac-12 After Dark. Things are going to get crazy. I'm not expecting it to be a super clean game, but I do really feel good about Auburn going out there and winning. Cal's been struggling over the last few years. I think Auburn will be ready. I feel good and feel pretty confident about 2-0.
Can I just say to the Auburn fans out there, get some sleep the day before.
Please.
You're going to need it because especially if you're in the Eastern time zone, I likely will be in the Central time zone for this, I believe, but still that's just one less hour. We're going to be up late. Be ready for it. I also feel fairly confident about that one, although I do think it will be a lot tougher than most fans are anticipating. The next one, you have a lot of ties to this school, Samford. I know this is going to hurt you a little bit, Austin, to talk about this. You are an Auburn person at your core, but tell me about the Samford game.
The Samford game, I feel good about Samford. It is homecoming, Kyle. You're going to cry about a video. Auburn's going to play well.
Don't even listen. You know enough about my personal life right now too that I'm sitting on the edge of emotions right now in good ways. And don't you even start bringing up a homecoming video right now. That is not fair.
It's going to be waterworks for Kyle, but it's going to be touchdowns on the field. Auburn's going to go 3-0, and then SEC play hits. But I feel good. The first 3 games, I feel good about Auburn starting 3-0.
I hate you so much right now for bringing it up. I may or may not have downloaded the homecoming video last year and have it on my desktop and watch it constantly. May not. I may have asked Jessica to come up into the office and watch it with me one time to see if I could get her to cry. I may have been the only one that cried. Anyway, we have gotten through the first 3 games. This is really where Auburn's season kind of is defined. This stretch of 4 games that we're going into beginning conference play is absolutely a gauntlet. And you can make the case for the whole SEC, but we're starting off on the road at Texas A&M. They're currently ranked 23. Don't know what to expect with Jimbo, with Petrino over there. I mean, you thought they could get it together last year. They didn't. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, this is the first one I truly have as a toss-up. But my gut feeling says I'm not sure Auburn's going to pull this one out. There was a time in which Auburn could not lose at Kyle Field, right? It was Jordan-Hare West. They had it locked down. I don't believe A&M is going to be that good of a team this year, but I think that first true road game in the SEC might cause some trouble. It's a toss-up. I feel really good about it being evenly matched. But in evenly matched games, I tend to pick home field. And so I think A&M's going to get the best of us. That might be the first loss of the 2023 season. Hope not, but I think I'm going to pick us as an L right there.
I think this game has more to do with Texas A&M than it does Auburn, because Auburn's going to be building momentum up to this game, hopefully, if they take care of business. And then Texas A&M, it's going to be determined, did they pull it together? Did they finally get it figured out? If they did, at Kyle Field, that's going to be tough. If they didn't, Auburn could sneak in there and get out with a win. It could go either way.
Yep.
The big one, not the big one, but the second biggest one, back at home, number 1 Georgia, currently ranked number 1 Georgia. Any hope to unseat the national champions this season?
I really wish that I could say I feel good about it being toss up or a win, but I just don't think this roster's quite there yet. I think it's gonna be I think the Jordan-Hare magic will be there. People will be rocking. It will not be like the past couple Georgia games where it's been a little flat. I think Auburn will be ready. It'll be Carson Beck, the new Georgia quarterback's first game, first true road game in the SEC. Fingers crossed for a night game. But I think that Auburn's probably going to struggle and lose to Georgia, who is an incredibly talented roster. But hey, as we already talked about recruiting, if Auburn keeps recruiting, they can be on the level of Georgia and compete with Georgia on a consistent basis. So but this year, I think Georgia's going to get them, and Auburn falls to 3-2.
I like that you pointed out that you hope it's a night game. I also hope so, and I hope that Auburn does get the win against Texas A&M because College Game Day is coming. I bet that is the game they come to
I
Auburn
can
this
see
year,
it.
if that actually kind of falls the way it should. Let's look at LSU, also a tough team in the SEC. Most people expect them maybe to be the representative from the West. Back in Baton Rouge for the first time since the streak was ended. We do have Brian Harsin to thank for that, so let's not, let's give the credit where credit is due. We have
And
him to
Bo
thank for
Nix.
it. And, well, yes, and Bo Magician Nix, like just pulling stuff out of his rear end and somehow making magic down there with what he was having to work with. LSU, Baton Rouge. I don't feel like. Tell me what you think.
Yeah. Another. I'm picking Auburn to lose their third straight game here. I think LSU is the sexy pick to win the West. I have them winning the West. I think that they are a team that is built, and is Brian Kelly has figured it out down there right now for what to do, even though he doesn't know how to speak with a Southern accent. I think LSU gets back into winning and down in Baton Rouge for a second straight time. So I hate it, and I really wish that we could beat the Corn Dogs, but I think Auburn's going to be 3-3 come October 14th.
It is truly a gauntlet, and I think you could throw this last game into it. Just
Yes.
to be honest, even though it's at home. And folks, keep in mind, this is the last time Ole Miss will be an SEC West opponent at Auburn, and period. For every
Yeah.
single year, so it's a special game too. Ole Miss in town. What do you think about this one? Is this where they turn the losing streak around in your mind?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, Kyle, 3-3. There's going to be a lot of unhappy people with winning 3, then losing 3. If this is the way it works out, but I mean, my goodness, with Ole Miss coming in town after all that's happened in the last calendar year, it's going to be nuts. And
I can't even think of what you might be talking about. I don't know what's been going on with Ole Miss.
It's not like we pay them any attention at all. I think Jordan-Hare Magic wins this one. Auburn is not going to lose to Ole Miss this year. I can't wait for that to be clipped and that get sent everywhere the week of. I've got Auburn winning that game. I think it's going to be absolutely rocking. I liken it back to that 2021 year when Ole Miss came into town. It looked like Auburn was absolutely about to take off, with Matt Corral beating Matt Corral and Ole Miss, and Bo Nix having a good game. I'm excited for that one, but I think Auburn gets back to their winning ways against Ole Miss.
All right. Well, we got through the gauntlet. Here's what I'd like to do for these next 4 games, because let's be fair, compared to the last 4, it should be a lot easier. Let me lay out the schedule, and then I want you to talk through it before we get to the big one at the end, and we'll discuss that by itself. But at home versus Mississippi State, at Vanderbilt, if they have a stadium, at Arkansas, and then back home for New Mexico State. So walk me through those 4 games, your mind on what potentially happens with those 4 games.
Yeah. The good news is, Kyle, I've got each of those as a win. I think Auburn is on a win streak after all those. They are moving. I don't see Auburn losing to Mississippi State for the 3rd straight year in a row. I don't see them losing to Mississippi
Did you
State.
really have to say that?
Look, it speaks of the magnitude, Kyle, of what has happened. I don't think they're going to lose 3 straight state. I don't think they're going to lose 2 straight at home to State. Auburn wins that game. That's also, when you think about State has had a rough year in the last year, that it's going to be a challenging year for them. Maybe not on the field. It could be, but in terms of what all they have to get through this year. At Vanderbilt, I think Auburn wins that game. I don't think Vanderbilt's going to be the worst team in the league this year, but I think Vanderbilt is improved, but just not quite enough. I mean, they don't have an end zone right now. So I'm going to pick Auburn to beat Vanderbilt. They don't have, did you see the scoreboard, Kyle? Did you see the interim scoreboard?
Yeah, I did.
I just
It's pretty
my
bad.
Nashville people, I'm like, "What are you doing?" Okay, and then Auburn goes up to Fayetteville. That is the another one I have as a toss-up, but I feel good about Auburn winning that game.
Right.
I just get to the point where I'm like, "Okay, first-year coaching staff, a lot of new faces on this team. Is there one they're gonna drop they shouldn't?" And I think that that might be one. Arkansas, I don't see them being special or being down in the dumps, but I think they'll be about that middle of the road. On the road, I worry about them, but I think they're gonna pull it out. They'll be fine. New Mexico
Yeah.
State, my boys are gonna go their first game ever. We're gonna win that game. So I have 4 straight wins right there through Mississippi State to New Mexico State. I think Auburn is on a 5-game win streak going into the Iron Bowl.
And that's the key right there. That Arkansas game is really maybe a season defining game in terms of where this thing's going to kind of go, because depending on what your prediction is, you, the listener and viewer, that could be as an away game, kind of just dictate where you're going to go bowl wise, the momentum you have going into the Iron Bowl. It's a very important game. And obviously New Mexico State's in between all that, but it's New Mexico State. Finally, it brings us to the Alabama Crimson Tide coming home. I would say home. They're coming home because Daddy's home in Jordan-Hare, where they will be having to sit through celebrations of the 10-year anniversary of the Kick Six and all the gloriousness that will be. Tell me, I know there's some excitement around this game always with this special year. What are you thinking?
Yeah, at this point, Kyle, with my predictions, Auburn is 8-3. Alabama, I believe, will be maybe slightly better, maybe about the same. I just don't think that this team, they have a lot of questions at that quarterback position. They're loaded everywhere else, per usual. But I think that this team is not going to be the elite Alabama team of a few years in the past. So it's a toss-up. It always is. I don't really care what the records are. It is game on, no matter what happens. I have Auburn winning the Iron Bowl this year. I think Hugh Freeze gets Auburn to win in the Iron Bowl in his first year. Jordan-Hare Stadium will be rocking. I think that might be the game College game day comes to town.
Ooh.
It'll be a crisp November 25th. It'll be perfect. It'll be the best uniform matchup there is in football. I have Auburn finishing the year on a 6-game win streak, 9-3. We're going bowling somewhere in Florida, and we're happy. It's a freeze warning all year long.
You literally just took my last question there and ran with that. This is why I love having you as a co-host, because you know where I'm going with this. All right, so let me say this again. Your final prediction: 9-3 for the bowl game. Is that what it was?
9-3 headed to a bowl game. First 3 wins, second 3 losses, 6 wins in the year. That's where I'm at, Kyle. I think the ceiling's 9-3, the floor 6-6.
Interesting. Very, very interesting. I think there are a lot of ways you could go with this year. None of them probably would be wrong, because it's just going to be that kind of year. Obviously, I've got more opinions and stuff that I'll be sharing on some other content here on E2C Network, but we wanted to get Austin on the record 9-3. So in about 3-4 months, when we're done with this thing, you guys can point back and say, wow, Austin,
right.
in a good way or a bad way. So we'll find out soon enough. And plenty of discussion for that coming up here on the next couple episodes. Topic number 2 tonight, we're going to discuss the big announcement from this weekend. Week, I guess I should say. It was discussed a lot of all the new enhancements, additions. And we're not going to get to all of them, Austin. Let's be honest, because there's like 20 of them. I think this list is.
Yeah.
Things that are coming for Auburn football fans this season to Jordan-Hare and surrounding game day, basically using not just the Hugh Freeze era and a new season in general to get everybody excited, but put new things around in for the fans. All this stuff is just, I was really surprised when they announced this list, how much they actually are doing. I know everybody is screaming right now, well, where are they going to get to the end zone? And they've acknowledged that's coming. It takes a little bit of time, folks. But I guess it's a long list, but let me just put the list out there, and then I'm going to open it up to you, Austin. Some things that we're going to probably hit: stadium capacity increase, new concession experiences. A lot of those are going to be grab and go, mobile ordering type of situations, stadium Wi-Fi upgraded and expanded, closed captioning for the video boards. West Side Seating Bowl is done with its refurbishment. New play clocks. That's been a big thing in the lower bowl. Team tunnel and field entrance enhanced, new lighting effects, DJ booth in the student section. Special needs assistance station has been introduced. Carrier cooling stations added in the concourse, it sounds like. New touchdown effects. A VIP program introduced. New flagship radio station for the Auburn Experience. Well, no, I guess not our show, but just the radio experience. New athletics app, and then field level premium experiences alongside the now partnership with SeatGeek. Whew, 20 additions there. Give me something you want to start off by talking about.
First off, Kyle, I think is the very first thing you mentioned, stadium capacity increase. Not because I'm like, oh, good, we need to add seats. Not because I think that, oh, the premium level seats on the field are amazing. They're okay. Kyle, I have learned that former seating capacity number like it was my home phone number since I was 4 years old. I don't know how in the world I'm going to ever remember this new one. I mean, it has been burned into my brain since I was a little one. And now it's some random group of numbers. 88043. I don't know how I'm going to remember that.
First world problems, right? Listen.
Absolutely.
Here's the cooler thing about that, though. Yeah, it's kind of a technicality thing about how we're increasing the stadium capacity with this new seating, enhanced premium seating, and some probably rearranging of some certain things. But I don't have the exact figures in front of me. Someone did give them to me earlier in the week, but it's been a week, as you can imagine. We now are like just a few hundred, I believe, under Florida's Ben Hill Griffin Stadium, and then a few thousand now underneath Sanford Stadium, Georgia's, stadium. So we have inched ever closer to overtaking two of our historically biggest rivals in stadium capacity. That's pretty cool. So, with an enhancement that's coming.
It is. If I could, Kyle, real quickly, what would be your like dream scenario of seats? Because I don't want to be 120,000 deep. But what would be your like? What's the number you're like? If we get there, I'm good with capping it right there.
So you don't want 120, is what you're saying?
1,000? No, I do not.
I think if we could get about as close to 1,000, maybe a touch over it, just because it's cool to say that you're
over what?
Over 100,000. I'm sorry.
I
to
see.
clarify, like that's just a cool club to be a part of. But I'm fine if we don't get over that mark, because I know that I don't know the logistics of adding the end zone, how much that's going to physically add to the stadium. I think they could do some more rigging to move some things around, just as they have with the extra seating experiences that they've thrown out there. So I think 100,000 would be ideal. I think it's obviously that end zone, which changes the game, and maybe even connecting. Be nice. Maybe a little bit of a horseshoe effect. I don't think it'll work exactly that way, but it'd be cool. But yeah, for now,
Fair enough. I just was curious.
Yeah, the new capacity is here to stay for now, and only will be getting bigger and better in the coming years. Let me throw one out here for you that I think is going to be very, very good for Auburn fans these first few games, is these cooling stations that they're saying they're having.
Thank you.
New dedicated cooling tents featuring the Carrier HVAC units added around the Jordan-Hare concourse to service fans you need a place to cool down. They have done a great job of giving the big old water jugs that you can go fill up, and allowing people to bring in a water bottle, all that stuff. But folks, I don't know if you've heard, it's kind of hot. That's going to be a huge, small thing that I think most fans are going to be lining up, maybe, especially that first game or two to get in line for.
Look, there's a freeze warning going around, but I mean, it's not going to keep the heat advisory away. So it's a nice thing to have. I hope that we keep it, as sometimes we might need that till late October. So it's an excellent addition. I think many will be, when we look at this list after the season, we'll be like, yeah, we needed that one the most.
If they don't use some type of marketing with freeze for those stations, they've failed.
Come on.
It's got to happen. It has to happen. We could reach a point where we overuse this a little bit, but hey, well, let's milk it for all it's worth right now. What's something else that stuck out to you from these enhancements that you want to talk about?
The most obvious one is what a bunch of people started talking about as soon as it came out. They're putting Ben Brood, the DJ, right in the smack dab middle of the student section. Kyle, I'm gonna go two ways with this. The first way I'm gonna go is that's super cool. He's always been in this. He's been in the stadium the last several years. Like if you
Right.
didn't know that, he's been there manning the music, and I think they had him up higher. Whatever. Like this isn't just we're putting a DJ in the stadium. So it'll be cool. It'll be a really cool atmosphere to be in the student section. It's already an incredible place to be. For it to be there as well, for him to be there as well, will be something really awesome. Now I'm gonna go to the crotchety old man segment. The last few years, I've been a little disappointed, and I don't know whose call this is. I don't know. There's been a lot of administrative change, a lot of coaching change. The last few years, we've been playing a lot of music, even sometimes over the Auburn University marching band.
Yes,
I have a problem with that.
it's fair.
The band, when they get rolling and when everybody's in tune with them, it's just as good as having swag surf blaring. It's just as good as playing all the above before the fourth quarter. So I want us to make sure that we look. I wasn't a band person. I love marching bands. I think it's a unique part of college football. But I just want to make sure that we're still encouraging the band to be an integral part of Auburn football game day, and that we're not just blaring our speakers as loud as we possibly can, because the Auburn University marching band is the best one there is. So that's I'm not. I felt like I was tame there, but I'm
You
just
were
saying.
did a good
Mr.
job.
Ben Brood's going to be a lot closer to the band, so I hope that maybe that encourages him to be like, okay, I'm going to give them their time. I'm going to make sure that we integrate this well together, because I think that's possible.
Yeah. Here's the thing. It's not my thing, right? Having the DJ be more prominent and stuff like that. But again, as you've addressed, we're becoming crotchety old men literally by the second,
We
and you're
are
watching it happen live
literally
if you're watching the show live. I I also see the value in having it and how much it's enhanced. I think
sure.
there's a fine balance there of honoring what people are really mostly there to see the band, and we're all there for the football game, but people want to see the band, people want to see Avi, they want to do the cheers with Mike Man, like all those things have to be center and forefront. But I think it's fine if you find a way to kind of mingle all that together and make it work. Obviously, there's a decision for the reason this decision was made, and I have a feeling it's probably for further decisions down the road. I don't know if you kind of catching what I'm going there. Just changes and
Mm-hmm.
enhancements that may be coming down the line. A couple of things that I'll bring up here that I'm curious about. The new tunnel and field entrance enhancement. It talks a lot about lighting. I'm guessing there's maybe pyrotechnics and stuff that's probably going to be involved in that. Alongside that, enhanced lighting. The lighting was pretty good last year with the light show at night and stuff.
Yep.
What can they do better, Austin? Like, I mean,
It was pretty good. We're gonna have to see and find out. I think we've talked a lot about Rhett Hobart on here. We talked about when he
yep.
was hired by John Cohen. We talked about the amazing job he did with Winston Park during the regional. I think he's behind a lot of these moves, and I
Oh,
think
yeah.
that that's a good thing. I think that you've looked at his past and his former things he's brought to Mississippi State. Those grab and go concessions were a big one. That was at Plainsman Park. I think that he is well versed and what's the word I'm looking for?
Experienced.
Tasked. There you go. Well experienced with these kind of moves. So I think this will be good. I like the enhancements. If you saw the quirky, fun video that of the players getting the stadium ready for game day, it kind of looked like that was part of it. There might be some signage right there where they run out. So that's already an amazing feeling. Oh, look, we all remember your boy Cadillac running out and saying, "Let's play ball" to the smoke in the pyro. So if it's anything like that, I'm ready for it.
Yeah, I know it's going to be great. I'm just more curious and
It is
intrigued,
curious.
because here's the thing: is even that entrance part, we're not going to get the full effect until a night game, and so
True.
that's going to be at minimum 3 games into the season. So, and it maybe I can't remember when Sanford is. Have they announced when
It
Sanford
is.
is?
Yeah,
Is
it's
it?
like 6:30.
Oh, perfect. Okay, so we're going to get to see that in the third game. And so we'll have to wait a little bit longer to assess all that. So that may be a topic we hit about that, kind of reviewing or assessing what we saw there. Listen, there's plenty of other things that we could talk about. The West Bowl finally finishing in refurbishment, the new app, but we just don't have the time to get into all those things. What I like and what I see here is an investment in not just the future, but now into building this Auburn experience inside Jordan-Hare Stadium into being one of a kind. Like better than it already could be, because even Penn State fans told you last year, this place is incredible.
Yeah.
It is.
As they're beating our brains out, by 30. So,
They had
like,
to go there.
I mean, if you can recognize it special even during that, then I commend you. So, I think you're right, and we touched on it briefly this week. Athletic director John Cohen was asked, "What else are we doing? Are we finally, adding seats, upgrade?" And he said, "Look, it's no secret, the end zone with the old scoreboard. All right, we know that's an issue. We're looking into it." So there's a forward thinking mindset with this staff and administration that you have to be really excited about. So this is just the beginning, I think.
It may be an old scoreboard, but it's not as bad as that Vanderbilt scoreboard. So there's always that.
No shot.
There's always that. Plenty to look forward to this season in just games, but of course, in the new enhancements and stuff that we're excited to experience for the very first time this season in Jordan-Hare. That's going to do it for this show tonight. Thank you guys for tuning in to episode 49. As always, we enjoy being with you, whether you're watching live or listening or watching on the replay. If you want to find me, you can do so on X at Kyle Loomis 24 and follow E2C Network anywhere and everywhere. Where can they find you, Austin?
I'll never get over how dumb that sounds. Austin G. Scott is where you can find me on X and Instagram, whatever else. So looking forward to chopping it up. Hey, Auburn Twitter is about to be, Auburn X is about to be back in full effect with the game day. So I can't wait. It's here, everybody. We made it.
We made it, and let me get out of here before he goes full crotchety old man to end this show. Episode 49 in the books. Till we talk to you again. War Eagle.
War Eagle.
All right, folks, that is it for that show. Stick around. I will be hanging out with you guys for a few minutes here to wrap up the show. Austin Scott, any final words? Anything you want to address before you get out?
I don't think so. I think I've probably done enough addressing tonight. Probably addressed a little too much. Actually, I do have one thing.
Okay.
This is, we always like to talk about behind the scenes on what we found from the thrift store.
Yeah.
I found something really good, Kyle.
Oh.
Really good.
What'd you find?
Prime condition. Like, it feels really good. Check this baby out.
Oh, sweet.
The Obby Story with covers from 1959 to 1976.
Why are you touching that? Like, put that in a sealed container.
By Phil Neal with text by our buddy David Housel, and tickets, like not real, but like printed. And then it tells the whole story of all the Obby things, basketball things, and then just like real covers.
I'm mad at you for showing this to me.
It's like brand new.
All right, this got real weird now at the end. I was with you until you sniffed the pages.
Isn't it beautiful?
It is very beautiful. I'm very jealous and very upset for you showing that.
It's right here on this bedside table.
Have you showed Clint yet?
No, I haven't. He's going to come and break into my house and steal it.
You better be careful.
I'm not showing Clint. We're gonna mute this. We're gonna black this part out of the replay first.
So you can't see it. Everybody except Clint can see this. That's it.
That's right. Good. We have those powers.
Good find. I now will have to go make a run through there this weekend and check that out and see if I can find any other things, or I might just come through your house and steal it.
Well, we're gonna black out you from remembering this too.
If you black out the host, I don't know how that's gonna work.
That's right. All right. It was good. War Eagle, everybody. Kyle, hope to see you soon.
Yes.
And War Eagle, sir.
We're
here. We made it.
We made it. All right, folks. Thank you so much for sticking around with us to the end of the show here. Would love to hang out with you a little bit more here and just shoot the breeze and talk about whatever it is you'd like to discuss within the Auburn experience. So let's get into it, talk about it. I will hit some of y'all's comments and questions that you talked about during our show. Had a great crowd tonight. Thank you guys so much for helping us get there by smashing the like button. What I would want to do first, though, as I always do while you get geared up for comments and questions, let me give you the rundown of stuff to expect this week. First thing, schedule for this week. I have a lot of plans for this week. I'm being very cryptic with things for reasons. Some of people are privy to that. But my hope is to have a lot of content for you this week. those things may change very quickly and drastically, and you will know more later about that. So just be patient. If something didn't happen this week that you were expecting for it to happen, there's a good reason why. But for now, let's go ahead and talk about what we do know. I do plan to do a season prediction show with you, the fans, where you're going to pick the season. That'll be coming up this week, maybe tomorrow evening or Tuesday evening. I haven't decided yet. I'll have to know that tomorrow. Auburn Family Night, Wednesday night, 8 Eastern time. Slow down, Kyle. Join us for our call-in show. And of course, we'll be talking about this first game week a ton. If you're not a channel member, you could be one by hitting that join button here on YouTube exclusively and get yourself some perks for only $1 a month. There is another tier available now that some have already taken advantage of if you'd like to. But also there is the Booster Club, which is now known as the Conquer Club. We haven't made that official announcement yet, but it is available at patreon.com/E2C Network. So check that out if you have not done so. And then, of course, all the links in the descriptions for ways that you can help support our content here at E2C Network by shopping with us or Alumni Hall through our link, donating money, or just being here, being part of the family, and helping us continue to grow this thing together. Okay, with that being said, let's see what you guys are talking about here. I think it's feasible that Peyton throws for 2,000 and Hunter runs for 1,000. I would definitely say that's in the realm of possibilities. The running part, yes. The throwing part, you just never know, right? Peyton's got some injury history too, just like Robbie does. So that could keep that from happening, even if he has a great start. Knocking on wood. So that's on the table too. Tim asked a big question. Why don't they put handrails floor level between the steps? So first of all, let me just say, I don't know why. It seems like a very I shouldn't say that. It seems like a very logical thing to do. So whenever someone asks a question like this, or even maybe I ask a question like this, I always ask the question and then go, why hasn't it happened? Usually there's a good reason behind it. It's probably not as simple as people think it is. I know there's a big discussion around accessibility for people in the stadium, and I think that's a very valid argument and discussion to have, but I don't think it's as easy as some people think it is. That's just my feelings on it. Will it eventually happen with a new end zone coming? Yes, I think that's probably going to be factored into that renovations of sorts. I know that's a big thing that people are very concerned about right now. And I would agree that the handrails would probably be a nice touch if it's doable. I don't know if you've checked out those steps. Not a lot of room already to even walk, much less have those things there. Tim says, I've got an eye problem. And this is exactly a reason why this would be a good idea, right? For people like you that maybe need extra help getting up getting up the steps. Frankly, I need the help too. So I understand that it's a big concern, but a lot of the times I feel like how can I say this? I don't even know how to express it without making somebody upset. A lot of times we wave these banners of course, this is the thing that we need to do, but without thinking why it hasn't happened. And I believe that it will happen at some point. It's just a matter of finances, how it's going to be accomplished. And sometimes those things take time, but I hope for people like you, Tim, that need it, it does happen. Let's see here. Elliot dropping in. You're going to drop your whole prediction here. He said 1 UMass win. I think that's what's about to happen. Be careful, Elliot. If you do a bunch of comments all in a row, it'll like very quickly in succession, it might time you out. So be careful of that. Let's see. Mr. Beautiful. Like to see Peyton throw 252 touchdowns, Hunter run for 150. Nice. Very nice. That would be a very good day. Very good day. Thorn to Hooks for the first touchdown. Okay, let's play that game. Let's play the game. Thomas has started the game. What do you guys think? Who is the first touchdown pass and catch? Thorn to who? Is it Shane Hooks? Is it Jair Shorter? Is it somebody else? Javaris Johnson. What do you guys think? Let's play that game. Just like our basketball arena, you don't have to be the biggest stadium to have the best. Absolutely. And that's why I say it would be nice to break 100,000 in capacity for Jordan-Hare Stadium. If it is doable the right way, doesn't necessarily have to happen though. But I think what we all agree is that other end zone needs something. Whether it's a huge second deck or just a way to add and then enhance what's there, I don't know, but it definitely feels like that is the obvious choice. The other thing is when we talk about these enhancements and these things that need to come to Jordan-Hare Stadium, that's a lot of change and a lot of things that you won't see the same way again. I mean, think about some of the sunsets that you've seen. I guess it would be the other side that would be the sunset, but either way, the skyline that you would not see anymore. Some of that's kind of special about the Auburn experience. But yeah, so just some thoughts on that. But Neville Arena, not Auburn Arena, is a good example of that. And being the biggest is not always the best. Thomas wants 95,000. Rob says 100,001. That would be fun. Upper West deck. See, this was back when we were talking about that a little bit. So there it is. Some of our discussions there. If you guys didn't see, I don't know if you guys can see it on the. We are live on Twitch tonight. We're trying that out this time. I try to always broadcast to YouTube and Facebook and then mix it up. Who gets the third broadcast and our capability to do so? And tonight we tried Twitch, so I saw somebody check in from there. Unbeaten Lake. Wow. What if we turn JHS into an indoor stadium? You got the money? As convenient and as for the overall game experience, that would be amazing. To me, college football is best played outdoors. I think football is best played outdoors. Yes, the heat is awful sometimes. The rain is awful sometimes. The cold is awful sometimes. But college football is just different outside. It is meant to be played amongst the stars, under the sun, with the wind blowing and the elements of that. To me, I think if that happens at Auburn, you will see a riot. As much sense as it would make, I just don't know that I would want that. Who do you think is our first 100-yard rusher? I would think Hunter, but seasons rarely play out how you envision them in the offseason. Well, here's one thing to think about, WT, is a lot of the times, I know there's still the question of Jarquez. Is he going to sit out any in the first game or whatever? Let's just assume he doesn't, just for argument's sake. A lot of the time, you don't see those guys get a lot of time outside what's necessary to get their reps for the game. And sometimes that limits the yardage they can get if they don't bust up in a bunch of runs. So you could see a Damari Alston start getting a lot of the carries as the game progresses and eventually be the first 100-yard rusher this season. Or Robbie Ashford with his elusive little legs. Don't tell me you don't think he's not going to come out in a couple packages and run all over UMass. It's not as easy as people think it is. It's it's definitely worth it. It's a good discussion point. It's a good thought. Something we might discuss if we're able to do a preview show this week. Let me kind of lay that out for you. Last year, most of you will be familiar with, I shouldn't say most, because we've got a lot of new people here. Typically what happened last year is, let's just assume a game's already happened. We will do this show on Sunday nights. Monday evenings, we would do a grading show for the game with a guest. Our guest won't be able to be here this season. So that's kind of altered that a little bit. Wednesday night shows for call-ins, talk about whatever you want. And then Thursdays would be the preview for the next game. This week especially, not sure all of that's going to actually happen, but kind of playing around with whether that's going to happen in what capacity this season. What do you guys want? What would you prefer? If you've got some thoughts on what you'd like from this channel, let me know. What nights? Here's what will always happen. Sunday night shows at 9, Wednesday night shows at 8. What times, what days, what types of content would you guys like to see in regards to football season, say Mondays or Tuesdays or Thursdays? Would I just lay out work? What are your thoughts? So what do you think about the VIP thing that starts tomorrow? Oh, is it the extra access to the app? Is that what you're talking about, Joe? Well, even if I'm not certain what specifically you're referencing, give me some clarification if you can. This push for premium stuff, whether it be seating, on the Victory NIL stuff, all of those things, they wouldn't be offering it if people didn't want it. So if you don't, I'm not saying you do, Joe, but if you're someone who hears us talking about this, like, this is such a stupid idea, why are they doing this? Somebody's buying it. And if they don't, it'll go away. So for me, I am not in a place where I have a lot of finances to spend on extras things. So I have to be very careful about what I do and don't spend. I'm not, it is not my market right now. So you will not see me in those groups, but maybe one day, I don't know if that answers your thing. Thomas says our Discord is going to be crazy during the season. Yes. So we do have a Discord now, folks. Now it is only right now available to channel members. So if you're a YouTube channel member, you have access to it. A lot of you haven't taken advantage of that, but those of you with the icons next to your name that aren't also Booster Club / Conquer Club members, you need to be checking that out. They should have capability to access that here from the YouTube channel membership program. And then also the Booster Club members, the Conquer Club members now is what it's called, have access to that. So we're going to have a lot of fun talking about that. You guys, the Conquer Club is meant for everybody to connect and kind of hang out with each other. The level above that, you'll be getting a lot of stuff from me that you won't get anywhere else. Some insights and sharing things from campus and all other kinds of stuff that I don't share anywhere else. But yes, it's going to be fun this season. Excited. It's going to get it's been kind of quiet in the Discord right now, but I know it's going to get geared up. I like pregame on the field running out with the team was an email I received yesterday. Oh, I don't have that email handy right now, but let me see if I can do this to make sure we don't get mistaken on exactly what you're talking about. VIP program will provide Auburn fans with the opportunity to experience games like no other. Okay, yeah. So here's the actual. Oh, Ed, that page is now a 404 not available. That's interesting. Or just maybe that's a mistake. But either way, if you get to run out with I don't think you're getting to run out with the team, Joe. I think you might be mistaken on it. I think you get to view it like nobody else, meaning there's a line of people that usually do that with the cheerleaders and everybody else who forms the A outside the band. I think that is what you're going to get to take part in. You're not going to run with the team. Maybe you didn't mean that, but that's what running out with the team. I don't think you're going to be doing that. It's look, it's cool. If money was not a obstacle for me, I'd buy everything. I'd be the biggest donor of Auburn ever. I'd be the biggest NIL supporter, but unfortunately, that is not in the cards for me. All right. Final comments, questions, derogatory rebuttals. Get them in right now as we end the show out. Would love to know anything else that we haven't hit that you'd like to discuss. And then we'll round our show out. Again, check out those links in the description. Stand by for this week. Hopefully doing a show either Monday or Tuesday with a season prediction show with you all. And then Wednesday live show, hopefully a preview of sorts, probably Thursday with the UMass game coming up. And then, of course, if you're not aware, you need to follow E2C Network on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, the Instagram stories too. You got to be a follower, turn those notification bells on, YouTube, TikTok. Content is coming your way from E2C Network, and you don't want to miss out on it. Monterio says Joe is right. Run out behind the team. Now, I didn't read that email, so I could be wrong with that, Monterio, but run out behind the team. I guess that could work. It's going to be it. I'm going to really watch this one now, Monterio, and see what happens. It's going to be hard to pick out who is part of the VIP experience, but I don't know that you want to be running in that heat on game day, at least for the first game. You like the shirt? Well, I got this from, I think, is it J&M? I think it's J&M. I think this is one of the shirts they threw out at a baseball game, and so I think it's a J&M shirt. But you should always shop at Alumni Hall. Yes, I do mean X, but I'm still going to call it Twitter. Yeah, listen, about the whole running out behind the team thing, it's cool. I just can't afford it right now. Not for me. Look, if I ever touch the grass at Jordan-Hare, I can die happy. Thomas, buddy, have I not told you? Go to the locker room tour. So you cannot walk out onto the field. They put so you can go into the locker room, and they'll let you out into that the behind the end zone that they come out of. You can't walk out onto the grass, but if you just want to put your foot on and just pass the barrier a little bit, you are on Jordan-Hare. We got to get you on Jordan-Hare at some point if that hasn't happened, sir. Joe, here's my answer to this question all the time. I will always be at game day, barring unforeseen circumstances, which may happen this week. But to answer your question as best I can right now, yes. Also, Joe, Joe, it's you and me right now. I want to make sure you have access to the stuff that you're one of our guys in our second tier here at the YouTube channel membership thing. You get access to the Discord and stuff like that. Make sure you're taking advantage of that if you're not, so you can talk with a lot of the other people there. Don't want you to miss out on that. If you're having problems figuring out how to get access to that, shoot me an email, Kyle Loomis at E2CNetwork.com. KYLELOOMIS at E2 network.com. The whole work thing's keeping you from pulling that off. I'm sorry. All right, folks, we're going to get out of here. Great show. Great crowd. Thank y'all for sticking around, hanging out with us, and being part of our little family within the Auburn family. We got a lot more stuff to talk about this week, so stick around, be here, tell a friend, invite them to be part of the best little family within the Auburn family. I can't wait to talk to you again, hopefully very, very soon. Till then, War Eagle.